The real reason why I make these videos about my spouse sometimes, and tell about these horrible tragedies that we went through driving through the house, the craziness that went on through on vacation, thrashing hotel rooms, coming home, finding her inebriated in a mess in our own house. I tell these stories not to disparage her, it's really to expose this disease. A lot of people say, why don't you let her rest in peace? Well, we can only help the living, okay? And this experience, rather than suppressing it, I mean, you can take two roads. I could have just gone on and forgotten about it. But there's other elements to this story, because after Amanda passed away, my father died 3 weeks later. I don't tell a lot of people this. He had a heart attack. He lived in Florida. I never saw him again. And unfortunately, Amanda's father died 2 months after that, and her mother followed about 10 months after that. So basically, in the space of a year and a half, my wife and the entire generation above us was gone. And you really sit back and you realize life is very short, and you have to really be able to be in a position where you can make the most impact on the world while you're here. And this experience really gives an opportunity to expose this disease and how it affects not only the alcoholic, but also the family. And to be honest, I don't really relish telling a lot of these stories. I don't really enjoy reliving them, but I know that it helps really thousands of people as my page grows and grows, and it's growing leaps and bounds, certainly the last couple months, because I think I've hit a chord. We have a Facebook group called Amanda, A Cautionary Tale, and I do live every night right around 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. It's growing, and there's a lot of things behind the scenes that I'm trying to create as a movement, really, with the TEDx talk, and then I also have her book coming out, should be coming out in September. We're trying to get that nailed down to a particular date. And it's going to be an important book because I don't think a lot of people write things from the family perspective and understand what the family's gone through. So much emphasis is on what's going on with the alcoholic. But when you have an alcoholic in the family, the entire family suffers. It's a family disease. I'd say about 98% of the people are very supportive, and a lot of people relate to these stories and more. People inbox me all the time how much they appreciate it. And there's also an element of people saying, well, why don't you let her rest in peace? And you're disparaging your wife. You're telling these stories, and what would she think if she was here? Well, she's not here. That's the point. And all we can do is we can help the living. We can't help people who are no longer here. We learn from our experiences. And if I have this opportunity to expose this dreadful disease and talk about it, this is why this disease is always permeated, because no one has really the guts to talk about it in such an intimate way and to share these really horrible stories. Really, they are pretty horrible stories. And a lot of it was a lot worse than I even talk about. There's some things in the book that obviously I'm not going to talk about here, but the whole point of it is I know it's going to have an impact, and as this grows, I plan on having a bigger and bigger impact, because I'm really here to help people. I mean, that's, I don't know how else to put it. There's no other motivation for that. And is it a business? Yeah, of course. I mean, you don't work for free. I hope the book sells 1 million copies. I really do. My coaching program does very well. One-on-one, I've literally changed people's lives. The program itself that we developed in 2023 has saved countless lives, and it really developed around the podcast that I did. A lot of people wanted to work with me individually when I talked to people. I talked in New Zealand, Australia, United States, Canada, England, Ireland, South Africa, and I believe Sweden. Actually, I think we did another one. I can't remember the other country, not important. But exposing this is really the whole point. So really the point of this video is really to expose that it's a lot more than just Amanda and my relationship with her. It was 25-year marriage. She was actually a really wonderful person, and that's what makes it that much more tragic. Because she was a very dynamic, loving, empathetic person, and the alcohol took all of that away, took her family away, and ultimately her life. And I tell this story to help others, and that's really the motivation. And realizing after all these people, really primary people in my life, passed away in such a short period of time, I realized that if you're not doing something that's fulfilling, you need to. Okay, take that message with you. Beyond the alcoholism, don't wait. Don't wait for tomorrow. If you have something to share, the time is now, and I hope that makes sense.